Hey guys, my name is Jeff, and today we're finally announcing a new project. If you go ahead and direct your attention over here, we're going to be building a W202 DTM-inspired street car. Now, we're not going to be building this exact car. This is the original made by Cascade, which make these lovely flannels, and this is the car that they brought to SEMA last year. So obviously they have a lot of full carbon kit. Ours is not quite like that, but the main appearance and the general appearance of the car is going to be the same. So this is what we're going to be building. Nick, who's over here kind of off camera, is actually who's going to be helping us assemble the kit, who's got a ton of experience with Pandem, RWB, etc. So he's going to be helping us piece the kit together, but this is the end product so far, and I am extremely excited. So next, I think the thing that we're going to do is take you through the kit itself so you can see what all we're going to be working with and maybe any potential modifications, and we'll take it as we go. The kind of awkward part is the fact that we've purchased the body kit, but we don't have a car yet. So we'll work through that problem when we get there.
But first, some background. This kit is inspired by the 1994 Mercedes-Benz W202 C-Class race car, which dominated the DTM series. DTM is the Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft, or German Touring Car Masters Racing Series. The W202 C-Class race car replaced the outgoing iconic Mercedes-Benz 190 Evo, which was facing increasing competition, just eking out the 1993 win. The new C-Class DTM car won the 1994 DTM season at the hands of Klaus Ludwig and dominated the 1995 DTM season, winning both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championship. The car continued racing into 1996, but as DTM evolved into ITC, the series collapsed, with Mercedes basically for the entire run of DTM having the most pole positions, most wins, and everything, followed by Audi and BMW. Now, the challenge for building a street car that looks like this race car is that the race car is essentially just the silhouette of the street car, and they really share nothing aside from looks. The suspension will no doubt require some modifications to fit this body kit and have the correct profile. We won't be doing anything similar to the double wishbone pull rod setup on the race car, but we will figure it out as we go. The race car was powered by a 2.5-liter V6, which screams to 12,000 RPM, and it was paired with a 6-speed sequential transmission. At least for starters, I think we will use one of the AMG models, ideally a C43 AMG with the V8 or a C36 with the straight 6. Now, if we get really lucky, we find a C55 AMG, but in the future, we will definitely look to improve the power with other AMG V8s in the family, hopefully to match or exceed what the race cars had, which was around 400 horsepower.
So next, I just want to show you the kit itself, which as it's laid out here on the floor is essentially how it goes on the car. Now, the kit has a lot of different pieces in here, some of which are very, very small pieces, but are split up just so you can maintain functionality of the street car, which of course is incredibly important. Things like the doors still need to function and operate, because I plan on building mine as a street car that I still want to use and drive places and put things or people or dogs in the back seat, whatever the case is. Now, there are some other things that aren't obvious just by looking at the kit. We are going to have to modify a lot of components on the car itself, things that were set up for the original factory bodywork that have to be modified for the very extreme DTM-inspired bodywork, in addition to things like the fuel filter cap actually kind of get in the way of some of the wide body fenders in the rear. And so I know that Cascade had their solutions for how they did their car. I don't know if we're going to do the same thing or if we're going to take a different approach. I know we will take a different approach on some components, but I think it's really one of those things that we'll just tackle once we get there. But with that, let's take a look at the pieces themselves. Up front here is the extremely wide front bumper, which also has a bit of a lower splitter, and of course, the very, very aggressive intake there. Obviously set up for a racetrack, so things like the front splitter that are very, very low in the front is a concern as a road car, because while race cars don't have potholes in the racetrack, we do on the road. So in the front here, I'm not sure what I want to do. Cascade's running coilovers all around on their car, and while obviously that's a static setup until you actually adjust the coilovers, I don't really want it to look too tall either, and I don't want to run airbags though either, because basically every person I know that's run airbags has either had a leak or has blown an airbag pretty quickly. So I know there's hydraulic systems you can do for the front, so you have a temporary nose lift. I think that would be really, really cool, but we'll have to see what sort of cost options or what we can actually fit with the 90s Mercedes suspension. So that'll be an interesting tackle, or at least try to protect that front splitter. Over here on the side, you actually get full side fenders, and boy, are these aggressive. The things I love that looking at these is you can see how much the wheel arch actually changes. Now the top of the fender is basically even with the hood, so we're going to have to do a lot of lowering and finessing of the suspension to give it the right look for the wheel and tire fitment. And there's going to be some other modifications, but the nice part about this is you're kind of changing everything in the front, just kind of swaps out and bolts right in, with the exception of the hood that's really unchanged and kind of the headlight setup. We just have to make sure we get our panel gaps correct. Now behind that here in the middle are actually the side skirts. And these side skirts here are just like the race car, and they're essentially where the side exhaust would come out of to make the car more aerodynamic. And the Cascade car said that their front bumper and the regular side skirts didn't hit, but then these components, which are essentially like a side skirt sort of aggressive aero side diffuser bit, did scrape. I'm not sure if the race car actually has these or if these are just part of the more stylistic approach of the kit. So I don't know if we'll be adding those or not. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. As we move further back, there are some body kit panels which just kind of maintain the silhouette of the car. And we also have the beginnings of the rear fenders with some other smaller pieces, as I mentioned earlier, to kind of break it up and make sure that you can still open up all the doors and maintain the functionality. Here's the rear bumper, and obviously, again, very massive. It has these cool sort of inlets, as you can see in the side, and that's kind of a common theme. Obviously, as a race car, even the front bumper has a lot of air vents, even these front pieces here. I don't think I want to leave these open because while it would be cool to see the tire and the inner workings, I think that's just going to get a lot of road grime or rocks flying through there. And so we may do a sort of metal mesh that's just going to be, you know, sprayed black or something like that. So that way it just kind of hides and stops stuff from flying through there and not damaging any of the bodywork. Here in the back is the wing, and you can see the metal wing hardware as well. So obviously it's a trunk mount wing. It looks just like the one from the race car. And I don't know if we're going to add this or not because I think it looks pretty good. But then Nick, who's helping me assemble the car, said that he thinks that maybe we should look into bigger wing options. And I agree, that might suit the car a little bit better. So maybe that's another thing that we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If we want to change this for a much more aggressive wing, maybe a massive carbon wing. He thinks we should go chassis mounted. I don't know about that. I don't want to really ruin the normal lines of the race car. Maybe we do a more aggressive trunk mount wing of sorts or hard mounted another way. We'll have to see what that actually ends up looking like. But there you have it. That's kind of a look at the kit. There's a lot of different pieces in here. Obviously, some of it just bolts right up, and some of it we'll have to affix or decide how we want to affix after modifying the actual factory car. So that's kind of a quick look at the kit itself. As I said earlier, we don't actually have a car yet, so that is the next goal. So hopefully the next video will be us buying a W202 AMG. That being said, if you have one that you'd love to sell us, I'd love to take a look. Feel free to DM me or comment on the video because that's what we're currently looking for. They're kind of rare cars. They can be a little bit harder to find at times, unfortunately. Mercedes didn't build a whole lot of them. Ideally, we would love a C43 AMG, and then maybe we can do some other upgrades in the future as well, depending on what we want, because there's a lot of components that can be swapped around in those cars. So that's kind of what we're looking for. But this is the beginning of something awesome. I'm excited to jump into this and to be starting a project of this magnitude. It's definitely going to take a while, so there's going to be a lot of videos to come, so make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss them. If you guys want to support the series, simply watching the video and giving us a thumbs up goes a very, very long ways for the support of this build. I plan on showing you guys as much as possible all the decisions we make and everything that leads to hopefully getting this car on the road. And we'll take it kind of one thing at a time. We'll get the car, we'll put the body kit on, and then from there we'll start to do modifications, potentially manual swaps. If there's something you think you want to see on this build, let me know down below. We're open to suggestions as we have a basic plan, and we're going to kind of make some decisions as we come across whatever needs to be crossed at that time. So we'll be building our own bridges in that regard. But with that, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you could put it in, give me a thumbs up, get subscribed, I'd really appreciate it, and comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.